Hey there, I'm Alex Radford. I am representing the city of Flowery Branch in the Miss Georgia for America Strong pageant taking place June 2026. I recently announced that I would be participating in this pageant, and I wanted to share a little more backstory on what the journey has been like so far and why I said yes and what comes next. So it's true what they say, you are who you hang out with, and I happen to make friends with someone who was a first runner-up for Miss Georgia, and she's a makeup artist and very involved in pageant world, and she recommended this opportunity to me. She was like, I really think you should do this. And so I was like, let me pray about it because I'm curious. And I took it to the Lord, and I sensed the Lord saying, this is not a question of whether you should do the pageant. This is a question of, are you going to make a decision based on fear of what other people think? Or are you going to make a decision based on faith and walk in obedience to something that I've placed in front of you? And I chose faith, and I said yes. And I'm in this pageant coming up in June. I'm competing for the Georgia title. I'm super excited. And, but more than the title or a sash or a crown or the glitz and the glam, what I'm most excited about with this journey is the opportunity to empower women to ditch fear, walk in purpose, and glow from within. Because that's been the greatest lesson I've learned in my 36 years. And if I have a story to tell, that is my story, from my teen pregnancy to divorce to entrepreneurship to just growing up and developing and just character development over the years. That really sums up what I hope to leave with the world. So that is my message. That's my platform. It's called Glow. And there is a 4-step process of what does it take to glow? How do we glow from within? That radiant glow, that confidence, just that X factor that some people have. And I'm going to tell it to you right now. 4 steps. Number 1 is being grounded in your identity in Christ. It's your DNA, identity, knowing who you are and knowing whose you are. That's foundational. That's number 1. We're never going to glow until we have that deeply rooted in us. And then second is learning and growth through suffering produces that glow. So there is a character development of developing a pure heart and just a life of integrity. It's those behind the scenes, behind closed doors. It's the things no one ever knows about or sees, but you know, I made the right decision. I did something righteous, or I did something that required integrity. Those are the things that make us proud of who we are. We don't want to feel icky about a decision that we made or, things like that. That sin is what separates us from our glow. And then the 3rd step is expansion. Okay. So walking in obedience, taking baby faith steps, starting to say yes to things, like really being vulnerable, stretching yourself, becoming visible. And then the 4th step is multiplication, which is leadership. It's walking in purpose. It's impacting others. I've learned to lead myself, and now I get to lead others. So there is a process to what it takes to glow from within. And there are several Bible verses about the inner beauty that really makes us just radiant. There's too many to name, but there are several that touch on just kindness, compassion, humility, forgiveness, unity. These things are what really make us glow when we live a life of righteousness. But there is one passage that I'll share. It's in 1 Peter chapter 3, and it's the verse you may be familiar that says, beauty is not about outward adornment. It's not about your hairstyle, gold jewelry. It's not about your clothes. It's about the gentle and quiet spirit that God finds very valuable. A gentle spirit. A quiet spirit doesn't mean like passive, but just calm, wise. So as I was researching, like, what does it really take and mean to glow? I read that verse again, but this time I read the verse before it and the verse after it. And I was really surprised at what I read, because that passage about inner beauty, the inner disposition that is our beauty, is sandwiched in between two other verses about being a wife, which I found so interesting. It was about wives, respect your husbands, and being loyal to your husband. And it says, even if your husband doesn't even care about the things of God, he can be captivated by your holiness, your holy beauty. And then the verse after mentions the marriage of Abraham and Sarah and how she loved him so much and she called him my dear husband. Some translations say she called him my dear Lord or my Lord, and little L. And she did this unanxiously and without inhibitions. And I'm like, why is this passage about inner beauty sandwiched between two other passages about being a loyal wife? And so two things came to mind. Like, yes, practically, being a good wife, a loyal person produces that glow, because I'm loyal. I've done the right things. I can walk confidently. But I'm actually not married. And that verse hit so strong for me, because this is the way Christ views the church. He is the ultimate bridegroom and we are his bride. And this is how we're supposed to love him, is to be loyal to him, to Jesus. That's what produces holy beauty, is loyalty to Jesus. So it was just such a cool moment in my Bible study of my mission for this pageant is called Glow. It's about glowing from the inside out, and that can look like so many different things, but with the intention of not having too much attention on just outward beauty or an evening gown or a fitness competition and things like this. What matters is a heart that is loyal to Jesus. And that's where inner beauty begins. And that's where the glow begins. So that's just a little bit about why I said yes to this crazy adventure. I'm so excited. We're just getting started. You're going to see a lot more from me. And I hope that you guys will stick around and be here for the journey.